Welcome everyone to the Board of Trustees meeting, February 8th, 2023. Call the meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I so move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Same sign. That motion is carried. Next is the consent agenda. A, minutes of the December 14th, 2022 District Board meeting. Item B, minutes of the January 19th, 2023 District Board retreat. Item C, revised policy 106, academic degrees and certificates. Dr. Russ Rothamer, Executive Vice President, Chief Academic Officer. Item D, revised policy 217, Ames Community College Foundation, Chuck Benson, Vice President of Administrative Services. Item E, new policy 306, website, Zach McFarland, Marketing and Communication Officer. Item F, revised policy 401, Institutional Review Board, Dr. Russ Rotham. Item G, new policy 512, Americans with Disabilities Act, Steve Schultz, Chief Human Resources Officer of Employee Services. Item H, new policy 514, workplace accommodation for lactating employees. Steve Schultz, Chief Human Resources Officer of Employee Services. Item I, revised policy 516, minors on campus. Steve Schultz. Item J, revised policy 534, drug-free workplace. Again, Steve Schultz. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to.
A motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. And that motion carries. Thank you. Public comment. I'm advised we have no public comment. Thank you, Zach. Item 6, presentation from guests and representatives to the board. Item A, excellence in Kelly Jackson, Foundation Executive Director, presenting.
Good afternoon, Dr. Bornstein, Board of Trustees, Cabinet, audience. Wait for our student today to share his story. We have students of every size, color, shape, demographic you can think of. Their stories equal that. And Luca's story is super compelling. We are remiss in not handing out Kleenex. However, use your sleeve if needed, because Luca's story is that compelling. Luca is a grad from 2022. He is an Ames to UNC student. You might have heard him at commencement in May. So today I welcome Luca Lovato. Thank you.
Union Board, Cabinet, and audience members, and Dr. Bornstein. I would like to tell you a story about someone and their recent years of progression that they have had. About 10 years ago, rather, this person was a boy. And I refer to him as a boy because he wasn't yet mature enough to be considered an adult, despite the fact that he had just joined the military. Now, this boy would not try to convince you that his life was so terrible, but there were some events that happened in his childhood that really shaped the way that his brain worked. Most notably was his middle school teachers convincing that his parents that he had a mental illness that he didn't have, and putting him on behavioral medication that dampened the important years of his brain development that he didn't need. And because of that, one of the side effects, he's been dealing with depression and suicide ideation since as young as 12 years old. Now, this boy really wanted to help people. So going into the military, he thought that this would give him the strength to be able to do that. But something he lacked was ambition. During his active duty military career, he didn't bother to get education. He didn't bother to learn about it. He just played a lot of video games, aspiring to be the heroes that he had played throughout those stories. So during that time, he pretty much just ran a YouTube channel, but in the process, he learned how to do videography and figured, that's it. That's how I'll do it. So at the end of his career at active duty, he decided he wanted to come back to Colorado and start a business driven to do videography and photography, and then failed. Within 1 year, he was homeless, starving, and all of his debt went straight into collections. He was upside down, living out of his car, showering in a Starbucks sink. Now, it was around that time when things really looked bleak that two people showed up in his life and really helped turn it around. One of them was a close friend at the time who allowed him a couch to surf on and taught him a lot about trying to gain resiliency. But another was an individual he would later call the love of his life. This woman, very determined in trying to see the best in him, encouraged him to take a step back and go pursue education. But as a teenager, he didn't really care a lot, so he had a bad GPA. So trying to get into a college that offered anything business related was really difficult. But there was a program called Ames TUNC. This program would allow him this opportunity that other universities wouldn't allow him to have, a chance for him to prove himself that he is worthy to pursue a bachelor's degree in marketing, something he thought he had failed in his business. So with this idea of going back to school so he can revive what he had started, he came to Ames. That wasn't really the direction he stuck with, because in the first semester at Ames, his eyes were so open and he learned so much more about the workforce and different positions he was completely unaware of. Most notably, public affairs and public relations, which had all the skill sets he already had been developing. A communication specialist, an opportunity to engage with people, a chance to help people. Unaware of this before, he pursued it even harder. And as he stayed within Ames, he got amazing mentors along the way, like Professor Markowitz, a communications professor who harnessed his ability to communicate and made it more powerful, more precise. There was also an amazing supervisor while he worked as an ambassador for the advising office, Lena Sandoval, who saw this same ambition behind his eyes and gave him opportunities to volunteer and exceed, one of which was writing their training program that they're still using now. And when it came to his graduation, he spoke at the commencement speech for his class, left himself completely out of the speech that he gave. In that speech, he talked about how opportunity had knocked on the door for everyone in that room and gave them an opportunity. But for him, it was the same story, even though he never brought himself up. And with Ames TUNC, he had an opportunity to turn his life around. He's not hungry anymore, not homeless anymore. He's pushing forward to a promising career. And now he's at UNC. He's a part of the Entrepreneurial Challenge Group as one of the directors of participant relations. He is also a volunteer at the Collegiate Recovery Leadership Academy, having an opportunity to learn how to actually help people. He also managed to get into a high bar internship with the VA to be a peer specialist and getting licensed in the actual skill set in going out into a community and helping people. Now he stands before you right here. Opportunity that Ames provided, I don't think I would have been able to get out of homelessness on my own. The educational prospects of having my eyes open to things that I was completely unaware of before, I can barely measure. And I thank you, as well as the cabinet, for being so involved with Ames, funding and pushing forward with the program for Ames TUNC, because it completely flipped my life around. And now I actually have a future, and one I'm very proud of. So thank you.
So, it's stories like yours, you and your stories, others like what we do here. Why Ames is what it is. So appreciate you coming here and sharing that, helping. Continue to helping others like you. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Take care. Good luck. That's why we're here. Hey, representatives to the board. First, Ross Perkins, Ames Staff Association. Welcome, Ross.
Good afternoon, board, Dr. B, cabinet, family and friends, those virtually and in person. Happy February. At least it's nice out today. Then I hear the snow's coming though, but that's okay. I have a couple of things I'd like to just bring to the board's attention and to kind of celebrate. One of my first goals when I became the ASA president was to really work on communication to staff and really trying to create some communication channels beyond just the daily and things like that. And just this past week, we were able to get an all staff email created by IT to be able to communicate directly with staff members about what we're doing, our meetings, opportunities for volunteer, things like that. So I'm super excited about this new channel of communication with staff. So with that, we sent out our first email last week just saying, hey, we have an email. Congratulations, we're ASA. This is what we do. This is who we are. These are your representatives at your campuses, part-time representatives and things. And I got so many emails back with just thankfulness. And one of the biggest questions was, oh, I didn't know what ASA did. And, oh, this is so good. I'm going to start coming to those meetings and things like that. So I'm super excited about that. I did want to read one, and I'm just going to read the first sentence of it because I think it's indicative of kind of the emails that I got in response to that first email. This is the first email I've ever gotten from ASA in my entire 8+ years at Ames. And I'm super excited about that because I'm hoping that we can continue to build on that and really grow the ASA, even though everybody's a member of it, to get them involved into that. And I think my very first meeting was to just get people involved in what's happening here at Ames. Some incredible stuff like that. Some incredible things that we're doing. So come March 31st, we are going to have another volunteer day with the with the Weld County Food Bank. So you'll see some information in the daily to sign up for that. The sign up sheet is already posted on the ASA webpage. We were going to kind of move traffic to that so people can kind of see what's happening and stuff. So, but you'll see some information in the daily in the coming weeks to sign up for that. So get that ready. I don't know the time. I'd have to go back and look at the time, but it's usually in the afternoon. Okay. The ASA, so earlier this semester, or actually at the end of last semester, I reached out to the leadership team, the ASA team, and I said, what are we going to do in the spring? What are we going to celebrate? What are we going to do to recognize the staff? And we started talking. We're like, well, let's do caramel apples. Let's do s'mores. And I was just like, yeah, we've done that before. We did popcorn last in the fall and stuff like that. And then I started talking, and I remember something that one of the staff associates did a few years ago, and it was really just an appreciation day for your colleagues. And I still had the sticky notes from that in my desk, and I kind of rummaged through the desk, and I finally found it. And so I reached out to the AFA, and reached out to the wellness team, Rachel Walsh and Dan Cope. And I said, here's an idea. What do you think? And we are going to plan a kind of an all Ames appreciation day the week before spring break, which I think is March 6th, if I'm correct. And what we're going to do is we're going to create little stations all over the campus, all over all the campuses, with opportunity for colleagues just to be thankful for their colleagues. and who they work with and who they work for. And it goes all the way. I mean, Dr. B, you can send some notes to me, maybe, I don't know. But you know, folks can send notes to the cabinet. They can send it to Dr. B. They can send it to colleagues that are in other buildings. And what we're going to encourage, we're kind of waiting until spring break. Hopefully it'll be nice weather to encourage folks to get up out of their office, walk over and hand these notes to people. And really just kind of engage in that face-to-face opportunity to do this. And so AFA is on board and the wellness team is on board. So we're going to kind of collaborate together to do that. And one of the things we're going to add to that, just to make it a little bit nicer or a little bit, you know, and fun, is we're going to have some candy available so that you can take some candy. If you need to put it in someone's mailbox, put it on the doors, you know, throw it on their desk, whatever it is, just so that folks, you know, if you want to, you know, share your appreciation for the work that folks do around Ames, this would be a great opportunity to do that. And I know we have ways to do it through the ripples and other opportunities, but this is just a really kind of a 1 week, get ready for spring break, feel that energy. You know, it's kind of been a cold winter so far. So we're hoping we can just build some energy. So we'll be doing that in right before spring break, the week of. I'd like to just recognize 2 staff members today because they've been super helpful with me as ASA president. The first is Rachel Walsh, who is part of the wellness team. She is the one who prepares the ripples and sends that to Jerry every month. And so I really appreciate the work that she does with that to get that out to folks so that y'all can see what's happening around Ames. The other person is Cynthia Halligan. She was instrumental in helping get this all Ames staff email together. So I really appreciate her support and just being patient with me because I'm like, let's do it. Let's get it done with. But she was, without her, I don't know if we would have got it done. She did such a great job. And I really just want to recognize both of those, colleagues for the incredible work they do. Thank you very much. Any questions, comments?
Questions?
Okay, y'all have a great day.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Don. Next on the for the representatives for the board, Student Government Association, Danielle Irwin. Welcome, Danielle.
Greetings, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here as always. Greetings, esteemed members of the board, cabinet members, everybody in attendance. I am so happy to be here. This semester, a great start. Members and student government workers have been busy at work. We have been very fortunate to been able to connect with students and increase excitement all over campus. During January, we hosted the greeting project and we were able to hand out notebooks, pencils, and various swag. Very excited to learn that students cannot wait for the upcoming events. I had a pleasure of talking with all of them and they were just ecstatic to hear about the stuff that we have coming up. So with that being said, we are excited to announce some of our upcoming events to celebrate Black History Month. All month long, please be on the lookout for posters across the campus that highlight important events and people in African American / Black history. And additionally, on February 10th, the Campus Activities Board will be presenting spoken word artist Ed Mayberry from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the Welcome Center Auditorium. This event is to bring awareness to Black History Month through spoken word art with topics including race, mental health, body image, and more. Ed has appeared on HBO, Fox, and CNN. This event is free and open to the community. So if your schedules allow, please bring your friends and family, and we'd love to see you in attendance. Another wonderful event that we are super excited about is the Art of Indigenous People, taking place on February 23rd from 3:30 to 6 p.m. in the Welcome Center Ballroom. Now, you all may have heard about this event before, but unfortunately, due to inclement weather, we had to reschedule. However, we still will be featuring singing, storytelling, dancing by Red Feather Woman and their dancing group. We will also be serving Navajo tacos, strawberry, and mango juice. This event is also open to the community, so please, if your schedules allow, bring your friends and family. We would love to see you all there. And also, if you would like more information on these events, or if you would like to volunteer, please contact studentactivities@ames.edu. I am also announced that the recovery steering team and I will be presenting on Conversation Day on the 17th. We're looking forward to discussing our current progress and what the future holds. I'm super excited about that. I cannot wait. In addition to working with the Recovery Steering Committee, I am also working on gathering student stories about recovery for the Ames Little Book of Recovery that I am putting together. I hope to connect with students and to leave them with a sense of hope. I look forward to sharing more about the project as it develops. So thank you for your time. Does anybody have any questions?
Questions of Danielle?
Excellent. Thank you so much.
All
And
right, well, thank you.
hope you all have a wonderful day.
Great job. Next is Ames Faculty Association, Julia Weinberg. Welcome, Julia.
Dr. Oxiger, members of the board, Dr. Bornstein, Dr. Rothamer, friends, family, and colleagues, good afternoon. It is so great to see everyone this afternoon, and I hope everyone has had a great start to the new year. You know, I was thinking, have you ever thrown a rock into a body of water? I'm sure you all have, right? Maybe a stream, maybe a pond. Once that rock disappears, you see this bountiful of ripples that are created by this one action. And you know what that got me to thinking of? That this action reminds me that small acts of kindness can make a huge difference in the lives of others. Kind of what you're talking about, your idea. Thus, it is my pleasure to share with you all today the beautiful ripples our faculty is making throughout our campus, as well as in the lives of our students. So first, we have John Mangan, Professor of Building Construction and Site Management. John's student said, "This was a really difficult semester for me because my father passed away in October." John was very empathetic and helpful, and he allowed me some extra time to turn in my assignments so my grades didn't suffer. It was so nice to have one less thing to worry about. So thank you, John, for that ripple of empathy. Next, we have Jared Merck, who is an English professor. And Jared's student said, "Jared Merck helped me through one of the roughest mental and family semesters of my academic career. Additionally, he went above and beyond when it came to breaking down the concepts. So thank you, Jared, for your ripple of support." Now we have Carolyn Eichmuth, who is assistant professor of chemistry. And Carolyn's student said, "She is an amazing teacher and she cares about her students. Also, she's really good at making class fun and interactive. And I really enjoyed her class a lot. So we want to thank you, Carolyn, for your ripple of caring." Moving on, we have Stacy Johnson, who is an English professor. And Stacy's student said, "Professor Stacy Johnson, once again, has gone over and beyond to support her students, academically, professionally, and personally. She is someone who supports and encourages others to achieve their goals." And I think we all need someone like that in our lives. So thank you, Stacy, for that ripple of emotional support. Furthermore, Jacob Wood, who is the part-time instructor of biology, Jacob's student said, "Jacob is easily one of the best students I have ever had. He teaches in a way that is very easy to understand, and he teaches so well. Wait for it. You'll be marveling at how much you know about that subject." So thank you, Jacob, for your ripple of facilitating understanding. Additionally, Fana Mulu Moore, instructor of physics and astronomy, one of her students says, "I love Dr. Moore. She truly cared about her students, and she was beyond understanding, caring, and loving. She encouraged us to step out of our comfort zone and make new friends. And she made all of her lectures fun and enjoyable." So thank you, Fana, for your ripple of care, of loving. Moreover, Jennifer Webb, who is a part-time flight or faculty aviation, one of her students says, "Jennifer is an outstanding instructor. Aviation can be dry and an informative, heavy topic, but she puts an incredible amount of effort to make it fun and interesting. I'm seeing a theme being woven within here. She doesn't just teach the class, but she makes sure that each one of her students knows that she is a resource and that can help with any of the questions you might have. So we want to thank you, Jennifer, for your ripple of being a resource for your students. Finally, Clay Fuller, who is an instructor of criminal justice, one of his students said, as much as some of the people in my academy class have not noticed, I noticed and truly appreciated how much Clay put into the success for our class. He was making sure that we could all exceed, and he encouraged class participation. And he even tried to get those people that were introverted to speak and to participate as well. So we want to thank you, Clay, for your ripple of encouragement. Everyone, to conclude today, I encourage each and every one of you to make a difference in the lives of others each and every day. Whether your ripple is of kindness, support, caring, empathy, emotional support, loving and understanding, just know that it's the small things in life that make the biggest impact. Thank you. Questions or comments?
Thank you so much, Julia. Questions? Anyone? Well, I'm going to make a comment. I appreciate you presenting those ripples. Over the years, being in business and everything, one of the things I've learned is that people do their jobs. They perform the best for just this kind of thing. Hey, I took a class with Motorola, and I've taken a subsequent one with someone, but I learned that pay is usually fourth or fifth down the list of reasons people perform well. A pat on the back, a word of praise is always at the top of that list as to why people perform well. So I think it's great that Ames offers this avenue for which people can praise one another and let each other know what a great job they're doing and give them just that pat on the back. And I think that is one of the things that makes Ames what it is.
I couldn't agree more, Dr. Oxiger, and thank you for those comments. I definitely share that right with you, parallel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all so much again. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Wonderful presentations. Again, thank you. Next on the list is action items. First few action items, I want to make a comment on action items A through D. They are for our mission, our purpose, vision, mission, and values. And I just want to say this for the people out there in the audience that we gave this an incredible lot of attention and thought, discussion in coming up with these revisions to our purpose, vision, mission, and values. I also want to say that we had quite a bit of input from cabinet, and I want to just say that we appreciate it very, very, very much. So the cabinet and everyone, they get feedback from staff, everyone that contributed a lot to us developing these. So I want to thank you all for that. One other, I'm assuming that they will probably be approved. If not, that would be the case, but I think they will be. But in making your motions, I would like to ask, and I'll remind you each time too, in making your motions, I would like to ask you to include that these become effective July 1st of 23. This request comes from the cabinet, so that it is in line with the strategic plan. And so if you will give cabinet that consideration, I would appreciate it. Include that in your motion. So, having said that, action item A is to revise the policy for, we'll get back to it here. For our purpose. Okay, action item A is for revision of our purpose. There's a summary as you saw in your packet. So I would first entertain the motion to approve action item A.
That we approve action. And make it effective July
July 1st, 2020.
1st.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second? A motion. I have a second to approve action item A, to revise policy for the purpose of the college. Yeah.
Read that.
The purpose, the new purpose revised is opening doors to enrich lives for a better tomorrow. Further discussion or comment? In favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Hey. Okay, action item B is to revise the policy for vision. And I'll get ahead of you here and I'll read the summary of that, Marilyn. The new vision is looking ahead to empower the future today. Do I have a motion to approve action item B?
Move to approve action item B, effective July 3rd, 2023.
We have a motion and a second to approve action item B. Again, looking ahead, I think it's powerful. Looking ahead to empower the future today. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Awesome. Congratulations. Action item C, revised policy for mission. In the summary that mission is provide knowledge, skills, and support services to advance the quality of life, economic vitality, and overall success of the diverse communities we serve. I have a motion to approve action item C for policy for mission.
I would make a motion to approve action item C, 7C, 7C. And make it effective July 1, 2023.
July 1st, 23. Yep. Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right. I heard a second. Okay, do I have a second? Okay, we do have a second. All right, any further questions again? Hearing none. Do you have a comment?
Yeah,
Okay,
just real quick, at our retreat in January, we had just a really fun time putting these together. And it was like they all it was amazingly quick, but they just came alive. we each participated very well with it, and everybody got a word or two in that made sense. And it just, it was really, I really appreciated our retreat. Just FYI.
Thank you, Mark. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none. Others? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. And that motion carries. And item D, revised policy for college values. We'll read for you the red line version of this. Strive to foster, authenticity and truthfulness. Strive to foster an environment where students, employees, and the community feel safe and welcomed to be true to their own personality, spirit, identities, so we can engage with each other in a genuine manner. Community. We strive to cultivate a feeling of fellowship with faculty, staff, administrators, students, and college stakeholders, so we can develop opportunities to share collective interests and goals. Equity and professional respect. We strive to promote an atmosphere grounded in equity and civility, with due regard, consideration, and thoughtfulness for the feelings, needs, and rights of others. Inclusiveness. We strive to advance the practice of involvement and empowerment for everyone, where the inherent worth, dignity, histories, and experiences of people are welcomed, affirmed, and celebrated. Performance, excellence, and effectiveness. We strive to deliver ever-improving value to students and stakeholders, and we focus on organizational sustainability and continuous improvement for overall college effectiveness. Questions? Any comments? Do I have a motion to approve action item D?
Approve action item D, effective July 1st, 2023.
Thank you.
I second that motion.
We have a second. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Same sign. That motion carries. Right. Well, I know that each and every one of us up here are proud to have adopted those action items. As Trustee Hout said, it was a lot of fun developing those, revising them, and having the discussions around them. Again, thank you for cabinet and everyone for your input. Dr. B, you want to make a comment?
I'd like to make a comment. Thank you. As we had talked in your retreat 2 weeks back, during convocation in the fall, divisions and departments throughout the college embarked on an exercise for higher purpose statements, either for their department or for the college. Just for the audience, so that you know, all of those statements were presented and utilized by the board to create the purpose and vision statements that you just heard. In addition to that, the board went through that very same exercise to come to their higher purpose for the college and utilize that statement. That exercise came from a group called Delivering Happiness. It's a national organization, and their book is called Beyond Happiness. And just to let the board know, I then, after our retreat, emailed the CEO of Delivering Happiness and said, I just want you to know what Ames Community College is doing with some of the activities that we learned at AFIT 2022 from your colleagues. and told them what process this entire college went through with that exercise, and then with the board going through the exercise and where you landed, and this is the response. Hi, Leah. Brilliant, all capital letters. Fantastic job making it uniquely yours, broadly inspiring, and also succinct. We are just loving your reports and results. We're eating them up over here. Is it okay to use these with our community to inspire others and, of course, promote aims? So, of course, I emailed back and said, brilliant. We'd love that. So just so that you know, we closed the loop on where that came from, and for the audience members too, on how the board came to these beautiful words.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Dr. B. Appreciate it. Hey, action item E, fiscal year 2023 to 24 proposed tuition rates. Chuck Jensen, Vice President for Administrative Services. Welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Bornstein, you have before you action item 7E. It is the proposed 23-24 tuition rates. As presented in the work session last month, I've made no changes to the recommendation. I've had received no questions or comments to bring to the board. So the recommendation stands as presented at the work session. And the administrative recommendation is approval of the proposed tuition rate for fiscal year 23-24. This will have a fiscal impact of approximately $700,000 in additional tuition revenue for the next fiscal year. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Questions of Chuck? Comments? Well, that was a great presentation then, sir. Thank you. Okay, well, do I have a motion then to approve action item E, fiscal year 2023-24 proposed tuition rate? Move to approve. Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve action item E. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. And that motion carries.
Thank you.
Chuck.
Yeah.
Action item F. Fiscal year 2023 proposed student fee. Again, Chuck Jensen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Bornstein. Action item 7F, proposed student fee. It would be remiss to not have a shout out to Danielle and her team, Madeline, as they helped present this at the work session, talking about the student fee and how it funds the different operations of student government and sale. And as with the tuition item, as presented in the work session, I've made no changes in the recommendation. It still stands at $1 a credit, capped at 15 credits a semester. So that would be $30 for the academic year. So based on that, the administrative recommendation is to approve the student fee increase for fiscal year 23-24, which will generate approximately $90,000 in additional revenue to support the activities of student government and sale. I stand for questions.
Any questions with Chuck? Yeah. And just for the audience, know that this has been presented and talked about it at the previous work sessions and meetings. So if there's no questions, then I would ask for a motion to approve action item F, fiscal year 2023-24 proposed student fee. Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. And that motion carries. Thank you very much. Action item G, transfer of property held in dissolution of 3 entities. Jensen.
Mr. Chairman,
Not
members.
one of those entities.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Bornstein. Action item 7G, transfer of property. This is the culmination of over a year's worth of work as we've processed through these various entities that were established many years ago. And these are the final, I hope, knock on wood, set of resolutions that I'll need to come to the board for to effectively eliminate these entities and transfer the remaining properties back into the college's name. And so as presented at the work session and the previous resolutions that the board has passed in this, it is the administrative recommendation to approve action item 7G and for the board to sign the attached resolutions authorizing the college and specifically myself to enact all the documents necessary to resolve these entities and then transfer the property back into the college. I'll stand for questions.
Hey, look, I know this is the culmination of a lot of work. This has been going on for a long time, years, in actually getting to this spot. And we have to appreciate all the hours of work that have gone into this, getting this done by you and your staff and everyone involved. So thank you for that effort in reaching this point. And it's my understanding that this should be the termination of this process. Is that correct?
That is, yes, that's my hope that this will be the final resolution that would need to come before the board.
Having said that, do I have a motion to approve action item 7G, transfer of property held and dissolution of three entities?
Approve 7G.
The motion and a second to approve action item 7G. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. That motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, action item H, location of public board meeting notices. And introduce Gary Harvey, board liaison to the board.
Thank you, Chair Oxiger. As noted, item 7H is the setting of posting sites for agendas and packets for the Board of Trustees. This is required by statute every year at the first meeting of any publicly elected board to set your meeting location posting sites. So it is staff's recommendation for the Board of Trustees website to be the primary posting location. And as a backup location in emergency circumstances for the president's office in one of three.
Any questions, Gary? The motion to approve action item H. For the second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. And that motion carries. Thank you very much. Good job, Jerry. And that folks, is the last action item. Next is item 8, information item. Item A, events calendar and upcoming work session agenda items. Jerry.
Again, Chair Oxiger. In your packet, you can see first the calendar of events. This is there in your packet. There are a number of them there. I won't go through each of them individually, but you'll see under each one of them who I have so far attending. So certainly take a look at those. And if there's any error there, if you'd like to attend one that you don't see your name on, certainly email me. One of them that I will draw your attention to is coming up next Friday, February the 17th, which is Conversation Day. And of course, I have all trustees attending, Trustee Hout. And so we look forward to seeing you there. Here's the annual calendar of events, just looking ahead to the March meeting. And a look ahead at those items that are coming up. We've got compensation and benefits plan and salary options and work session. The appointment of the designated election official for the upcoming November election. Board update and enrollment report.
Thank you, Jerry. Any questions of Jerry? Thank you. Item B, distinguished fellow nomination deadline and selection of Board of Trustees representative to distinguished fellow committee. Good.
Thank you, Chair Oxiger. The Distinguished Fellow Award process is outlined within the policy and procedure that was provided in your packet, so I won't go into super detail into that as it was provided in your packet. However, just a brief outline of upcoming events there. Currently, we've been accepting applications. Since the first of the year, we posted and distributed out on social media, on all of AIM social media, to solicit for those nominations for the Distinguished Fellow Award. That deadline is February the 28th. There's also a committee that is formed that makes a decision on who is going to receive this award. One of the members on that committee is a member of the Board of Trustees, and that person serves as the chair of this selection committee. It sounds like we want to volunteer every year from the board, and it sounds like we have interest from Trustee Wendell to serve as the board representative. Okay, excellent. So I will make note of that. Thank you, Trustee Wendell. That we have a full committee. I'll be reaching out to that full committee tomorrow to begin getting availability and determining what date we will all meet to go through the selection process. It will be that first week in March before spring break. But again, I'll be emailing out to the full committee of folks tomorrow to begin that process of getting that settled and getting that on the calendar.
Okay, very good. Thank you very, very much. Next, progress on board priorities. We have our board priorities, as we always see at our meetings, and thought it might be a good idea to just take a look at those and see how we are doing on the. So any discussion on that at all? First one, I'll just kind of go over the first one is continue the professional growth of the trustees and community college. Identify specific work session topics that inform the board and provide opportunities for in-depth discussions. How everybody feels that we are doing on that discussion. I'll take the lead on that if you want to. I think we've done a good job of attending conferences that we feel are relevant to the board's progress and the board's growth. We've done that over the course of the year. We've been very informed as to the progress of they've certainly been given opportunities to follow the college through that plan and see where we've had opportunities and have actually grown through that process. I think one area that possibly we could improve, continue to improve is presenting or offering items to be brought forward on the agendas. So I think we could still do some improvement in that. Another comment, Marilyn.
The work plan and our specific work sessions, I feel like the cabinet and the team provide us with a lot of robust material. I feel like it gives us that ability to make decisions following into the calendar that Jerry discussed just shortly ago. I think being able to follow that and be ahead of the curve has been very helpful, I think, in preparation as well.
Good, thank you. Anyone else?
I would just like to thank Chuck Jensen for always giving us a little extra added time to ask him some information and answers and Bruce. If you have any questions, and then he answers everything very well, and then we don't have to ask him those specific questions. Very informative, and I really appreciate him taking the time. So.
Good. Anyone else? Okay. About assess board performance monthly during the meetings. We certainly have the opportunity to do that at these meetings. And over the course of since this is implemented, we've had a few comments. So I think we've probably met that criteria. Participate in local and national professional development. Again, that's kind of a repeat of what I said up in the professional growth, but I think this is national performance, professional development. Going to the national conferences has certainly been a big help when I've done. And I think as you all report when you come back from those conferences and report on the sessions that you sit on, I think it's been very evident that we learn from those. We learn from other trustees that we meet at those and have frank discussions on in comparing how Ames performs or what we do relative to what others are doing. I know those conversations that I've had, I've learned a lot, and I feel that others have taken away a lot from our discussions as to what Ames does. So I think nationally, Ames in some areas has become very well recognized for what we do and how we do it. So, focus on developing cohesive function. I'm sorry, did you have a comment, Mark?
Yeah, no, I think, all the national conferences. What Lyle mentioned as far as fellow board members and also just the information game. And we all have our niches and our wants, and so I think they're always fulfilled. We've been a participant with the ACCT for probably as long as my tenure's been on the board. Our sister college, Colorado Mountain College, attends a different organizational event nationally. And that might be something that would entertain. It's a spring event, I believe. For the next board to kind of consider as Lyle and I head off and to the sunset, and you might consider another perspective and maybe even some additional information. Again, higher ed is going through a lot of change, and we're starting to see that. I think if anything, I see high schools merging towards community colleges and four-year institutions merging towards community college. So there's a kind of a collision all of a sudden in the middle, and we're the middle, which is great because it gives us a lot of opportunity to provide success. But the more information that you two can garner, if the an April meeting might be easier on the schedule than in October for you there, but I don't know why it doesn't matter, but we might take some time to research that. And just get a different perspective from the CCT.
Hey, thank you, Mark. Let's see, this one. Each trustee will review board policies and procedures 1 to 99. Any suggestions should be brought to the September 22nd board meeting. Well, we certainly completed that. Suggestions, and of course, we saw from the action items today that we did some really good work there. Strengthen connections and advocate for the college within the community service. We all advocate for the college anytime that we talk amongst ourselves enough that we know When we talk at board meetings, that we know that we are all very supportive of this college. And certainly in any of our discussions, we advocate for the college. So I think we could probably met that word priority. So those are my comments. Any others? Well, thank you very much. Take one last look. Make sure Mark doesn't sneak one in at the end. Go ahead.
That's our job as the cheerleader for this college.
Yep.
And I think between the three of us, five of us, our job is done as best as we can for the people we connect to. And it's very important because you guys, we're riding in your way. You guys have just given us all the opportunity to be very proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, June board retreat topics discussion. We do have a retreat coming up in June. The dates, the 6th. June. 6th and 7th. Okay, thank you, Gary. So make sure that you get some any question, any topics rather that you would like discussed with the June retreat. Please let us know so that we can consider those. And of course, everything is relative to the time that we can allow to the retreat. So, but we would love to hear from you. Harry, do you have an update on the retreat?
Just a reminder of the dates, June 6th and 7th, and that I've started the process of communicating with our facilitator, Dr. Pam Fisher, to facilitate the first day of the retreat. So that process has started and we're moving right along.
Thank you very much. All right, next, item 9, CEO Presidency Report. Dr. Bornstein, turn it over to you.
Thank you, Chair Otziger. You will see in your meeting packet highlights from the various divisions. We will not be going over any of those verbally, but we do have an internal monitoring report, which is the workforce update report. And Dr. Rothenmark is going to go ahead and introduce the team. We do have this as an annual report. And Dr. Spezza has requested that we actually get into a different cadence based on our data collection. So we're going to have this report this month. You will get another report in August, and then subsequent years it will be in August because they'll have more thorough data from their year.
Thank you, Dr. Bornstein, Chair Ziegler, member of the board. I'd like to take an opportunity to introduce you to Dr. Nick Spezza, who's our Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs, and one of his areas of leadership responsibility is our workforce team. And as Dr. Bornstein just mentioned, this is the time of year in your list of events that you hear our workforce development report. Dr. Spezza.
Thank you, Dr. Rothenmark, Chair Otziger, Dr. Bornstein, members of the board, cabinet, and colleagues. It's my pleasure to be before you today, presenting on some of the efforts the college has been engaged in regards to workforce development. I'd say some because many of our colleagues are engaged in workforce development. And as you know, the state of higher education is changing. So what we do in this space is really important. Now, I've been with the college for about 3 months. So bear with me if this presentation doesn't go very deeply, but we will be going more deeply as we start to develop what we do. I'm incredibly grateful for this opportunity and for all of our colleagues who have had a hand in doing this work and helping me put this presentation together. I'm so glad I printed in really large fonts, so I don't need my glasses. But we have been taking a multi-targeted approach to workforce development. People first, which has been echoed throughout the reports and conversations and presentations today. Prosperity for our regional industries and improved quality of life for the communities we serve in the region. And I swear I did not put those words in my presentation before you changed the topics for the organization. So I really, really appreciate that you decided to help me line up with you. As I mentioned, this approach is becoming more and more relevant to higher education in our portfolio. How are we meeting the needs of our community members quickly, sometimes in non-credit ways? We're also a key mechanism for the state and regional supports to connect to new and developing businesses. Well, people first, right? Folks dream about starting a business, and that's all they ever do. They sit on their couch and they dream about starting a business, and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to take a first step. Inalona took a step and came towards Ames for some of our non-credit courses. Those courses were just enough to catalyze their interest and help them get started. And you can see the Ginger Cat Studio opened in downtown Greeley in March of 2022. They're opening and they're thriving. They're a really nice school. People. Oh, we can't forget industry. Lightning eMotors has set up shop in our backyard. If you have not had an opportunity to visit them, they take commercial vehicles, remove the gas engines, and replace them with electric motors, batteries, braking systems, etc. It's an amazing, very large, really cool facility, and they are growing. And to help them grow, we are facilitating some state grant funds. And well, in the picture, you can see our welding chair, Cody Jones, as he was there presenting and helping teach them how to do their business even better. And one of their employees is an alumna, Lindsay Packer. So there's some people and some business connecting to the work we do to help businesses grow and develop in our community. Mentioned some of the work. Here are some of the reporting areas that I'll present a little more for you today. And you have it in your packet, I know. Thank you for considering the change to the reporting cycle. So the data I'm about to present to you is not only a couple of years of data, and so it's a couple of years old, but it's 8 months old from our reporting cycle. So you can see why it would make more sense if we could close a year and put that fresh data in front of you, along with some of the interesting stories. Commercial driver license training. And Mike stole my thunder earlier. Where's Mike left already? He talked about the shift track. So we have been making investments into this program with full-time instructors and this really cool shift track. And if you haven't seen it, hello, too loud. I can keep if we wish, but I know we have people online, so I don't want to do that to them. Notice a difference, did you? Yeah. Rest of the team in the commercial driver's license training program have been doing an amazing job standing up this program in its new home. Having the shift track is super helpful. There are more things we need to do to grow and support the program, but you can see even after the shift, they are growing. And when I talk to folks in the community, I talk to folks at CDOT and other areas, and they're saying, as many folks as you can graduate, we want them, we need them. So there's lots of need in our community for this program. And we've got lots of work to do to support and grow and develop it, but they're doing an amazing job already. The graph that IR put together there, that map, you'll see that for several of our areas, because I really wanted you to see that our programs have a reach across our service area. It's just gross revenue. That's all.
Revenue from where?
From instruction, from tuition fees.
From tuition fees to the college.
To the college, correct.
Okay.
Yep. And these are non-credit. So
This is
I'm calling it
certificate.
tuition, but it's a non-credit certificate, yes.
How many courses that we've got per student?
I can't answer that, but Scott is here. And if you don't mind, Scott, would you pop up?
How many hours or how much time is involved with a CDL license, you know, from start to finish?
It's 128 hours of study, both in the classroom, on the range, on the public roads, and doing homework, doing vehicle inspection.
Now, this is 12 months of the year, you're rotating students in
We
and out?
start a new class every 2 weeks. They overlap in the third week. And we take a few months off for winter break and spring break so that we can do vehicle maintenance and inspections and things like that without having downtime for our students.
Starting base income, possibly low end to high end at start?
Minimum of $50,000. And I've seen as high as $80,000 and even $90,000. So we have 18, 20-year-old young people. We have people in their second careers who have worked 38, 37 years. I'm thinking of two different people with CDOT and scheduling brain and spine surgeons who come to Ames to get a second career. And in 3 weeks, they graduate making $50,000 to $80,000.
Director of our CDL program. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, sir. Continuing education has been paying close attention to our community and what our community is asking for. And you can tell by the numbers and the growth on these items that we're starting to get it right. If we weren't getting it right before, we're getting it more right now than we were. And our reach is growing. They are operating across all of our campuses and across our entire region. And that Ginger Cat story, they took a continuing education course, 2 of them, I think, and that was all it took to catalyze their investment in themselves. We are continuing to explore new offerings, mental health related work, doula, entry-level healthcare programming, because employers are so hungry that they're looking for fast options to get people trained, certified, and into their workforce. We're trying to help them do that. Well, I'm not going to say we're trying, we're helping them do that. We'll just keep learning how to do it better and better. We are. CPR, a training center. What's not captured in this data is in our service area, in the last 5 years, we have granted 10,000 CPR certificates. Oshana and Amy have been paying attention to that and growing how we can serve this region. They actually have their first corporate contract that is going to be executed this year as well. So lots of great growth and connection to what employers might need. And this program also had moved from the Windsor Public Institute, Public Safety Institute, and now it's part of the workforce shop. 1,000 people served. We need golden arches or something around that. State training and corporate contracts. The state provides money for new and existing businesses to enhance their operations, and we facilitate many of those grants. We also work directly with employers on contract to serve them. We have a number that we're working on right now. Fair Sector Partnership, Owens, Illinois, Chevron. We have Woodward coming for a visit this Friday. Titan Vans wrapped up the training in January. Lightning E-Motors, which I had a picture of earlier, we're under contract with them as well. Bobo's Cakes, we have a proposal out with them. So we are out and about talking to industry. Some of it shows up in our data really well. Some of it doesn't. And so we'll work on that as we continue to develop our presentations for you. But here are some of the general numbers over the past 3 years. Nicholas, yo.
We're going to get on a first name basis, can't really. grant monies, are you writing the grant or do they bring the grant to you? Are we doing that?
We are writing, Shana, Powell, Marie, Meyer are writing those grants
Okay.
and they are managing those grants. Of course, with our grant department, with Malone and our grant
Sure.
department. But we are actually writing the grant in partnership with the corporate entities. Now, they may bring the idea to us, but if we are executing a grant, we're responsible for it, so we're writing it. The margins have also increased. The margins up to last year were, I think, about 8 or 10%. They will be moving up toward what a standard margin might be. I think it's around 50%. I'm looking at Shana. Yep, 50% will be our new margin. So they will become a much more lucrative business for us to be in, besides the community effort.
Are those, some of those matching grants from the industry to the state funder? Or-
I don't think so. Shane, I'm looking at you. Do you want to pop up? I love having my team here. They are amazing. Jenna Howell, Director of Workforce Development.
These are the grantees, and then the college, our department, we are the fiscal agent and we administer the grant. So the companies do have a 40% requirement match. They usually make that in kind. And that is made up of, if you're paying for your employees to be in training, they can put that in their application. And usually most companies, if they have to pay a certain wage in order to be eligible for the grant, they meet that in kind just in the wages. They can also have a monetary match if they want to include something that the state will not pay for.
Howell, Director of Workforce Development and Innovation. This was a quick overview of some of the work that we've been engaged in. And this is a list of some of the people. This is one of the things that I find very difficult about presenting. As soon as you start a list, you know you're going to forget somebody. So I apologize in advance to anyone who's not on the list who has invested in all of this work and helping me make this presentation today. But for the folks who are here, if you would stand up so we can recognize you. Scott Bradley, Shana Howell, Heather Lelchuk, Marie Mayer, Katie Fosdick, Russell Iverson, Julie Lukenge, Kyra Pinon. Oh, and I couldn't have done any of this without Kyra Pinon. She is our staff executive and keeps me from making a mess of everything. Mary Gabriel, Amy Lamott, and Rena Martinez. And across the college, pretty much everything we do is workforce development, and we help people get employed, advance their lives. So I want to make sure people know that we represent part of the work and honor all of the work. Thank you very much. Yeah.
One question,
Of course.
if you don't mind, it might evolve. Ted Johnson, our vice chair on the Eames Foundation, I was discussing an issue last week. And we were kind of wondering if there's an actual database that exists on jobs needed in the region. I mean, how many doctors do we need, how many nurses, how many hospital staff, all the way down to people pushing the broom or doing whatever needs to be done. Is there such a beast?
There is.
There
There is. We have data from the state and from regional sources that tell us some of that story. We are also engaged in the sector partnerships. So we meet with the healthcare sector partnership, which is made up of many of the industry partners in the healthcare sector, manufacturing, construction, et cetera. So not only do we have data, which, data needs to be read and interpreted, but we also have that direct connection with our industry partners to vet that data, their stories, and how we might connect. So yesterday or the day before, several of us, Terry Anderson, Dean of Health, and Heather Lelchuk from Loveland Campus, and I met with a couple of mental health care providers because they're telling us they need help, and the data says they need help. Well, we need to interpret that story and figure out how we can line up with them and provide the right training. Matter of fact, from that first conversation, we are already providing some of their training need. They just didn't know it. So the next product we're going to have is actually going to be a lining up of their jobs because their job titles differ and it's very hard to interpret. So we're going to line their job ups with the competencies of those jobs and the training we already provide, and then do a gap analysis in case we're not offering things. We'll talk about how we can move that forward.
You have data that associates income level with those positions so it becomes kind of a marketing statement that if you want to earn
Yes.
$50,000 with a month's worth of education, here's what you gotta do, you know.
Yes, we have data that tells us what those job openings look like, roughly how many there are, and what those projected earnings for that job might be at different levels of education. So if you get a certificate, you earn $20 an hour. If you move to a degree, it may be 25. If you go to a next level degree, et cetera. But we do have that data. Landon Lloyd, actually in Andrea's shop, pulls that one every time we're thinking about a new program. I think you've seen those kinds of reports. So we have that kind of general capability to look at our areas by region and figure that out.
Is it accessible by lay people?
No,
Okay, so what's the,
we have a database. We have a subscription to
you
that.
have, you have
we-
a subscription?
The college does. Yes, we do.
Okay.
We have a subscription to many databases, actually. And we cross-reference them and then go talk to the industry to see if we're actually on the right track.
Okay, well, that's a.
That's good. Thanks, sir.
Questions for Dr. Spezza?
I don't have a question. I'm just impressed and excited, and I really appreciative of the innovation team back there. We didn't really get a clap for you all, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
This is also around that time of year that we want to give you a mid-year update on our strategic plan. Sometimes it's in December, sometimes it's in January during a retreat, sometimes it's now. So it's now. As you recall, it's the last year of our 5-year plan, and we've got folks who would like to just give you an update on where they are. You might recall this 3-legged stool document. So they're going to be working from that document. So Dr. Russ Rothenberg would like to begin.
Dr. Bornstein, Chair Executive, members of the board, it's my honor and privilege to be here with you to share brief snippets of the amazing work that the academic affairs team has been doing with their colleagues across the college. And as Dr. Bornstein mentioned, on each of these line items that are part of this strategic plan that's closing up. And if you please bear with me, I've got 10 pages of notes to go through for the majority of what you have there is 2023, 22-23 CEO President's Goals. I only have 12 of them, and I only have brief snippets. So I've colored my page as well to give you the highlights. But I do want to start with line item 4, the expand career and technical education, CTE post-secondary opportunities. The highlight is the emphasis on this CTE growth has been catalyzed with the increase in the CTE focus through our career centers and our high school partners. And we have exceeded the benchmark goals of 15% increase of student growth, as well as a 10% increase in credential growth. So that's the update for line 4. Line 8, which is the increased degree attainment by adult learners. We wanted to focus on activity 3, which is assessing the effectiveness of PLA. That's prior learning assessment with chairs, deans, faculty, SACE, and students. And what I wanted to share with you on that one is that a new automated process workflow is in its final testing stages and will be ready to implement in summer of 2023. We're excited about that, really helping out the effectiveness and efficiency of what we're doing. In addition, I know we've reported on this before, but it's also worth noting that our teams, primarily in arts and sciences, but across the college, have created challenge exams that allow students to take exams to show their knowledge for 45 different guaranteed transfer courses, giving them opportunities to earn that credit without having to sit through the class and saving them time and tuition. For line 22, online faculty training and online options, wanted to share with you one of the pieces that has really come up in terms of accrediting questions and making sure that it's the student who's registered for the class, who's taking the exams, and showing that we've done a lot of work around the online testing component. And it's been a high priority conversation for several of our academic affairs committees. And one product that they've analyzed is Respondus Monitor. It's an automated proctoring software. And it also looked at using lockdown browsers have been evaluated and used in some classes. And then we also have faculty who prefer to use the test proctoring software that's available with their textbook publisher. And this is a constant ongoing initiative just to ensure the credibility of our courses and who's taking the courses and getting credit for them. Moving on to line 28, we developed the leading and lagging indicators, benchmarks, and targets related to the core measures. So a lot of exciting work has been accomplished in this area with the process of updating the core measures report to include a few new data points as recommended by a recent compliance audit that we've done. We've also developed, and you'll be hearing more about it for those of you attending Conversation Day, which was mentioned earlier today, an environmental scan, which will do a deep dive session on data for the US, Colorado, and Weld County. We're looking at that. Line 29, enhancing data training regarding data availability, usability, and analysis. In fall 2022, the team in Institutional Research and Assessment created 3 different training programs were developed and made available to all employees through our online library system called Biz Library. And as of this date, those videos have been seen 74 times. 5 participants are currently in progress, and 9 certificates have been issued for those individuals who went through all of those training programs and then took the assessments after those. In addition, the Institutional Research and Assessment team, as part of this, are doing 30-minute like TED Talk type sessions. We're starting those the 1st of March. And the first one we're going to be doing is understanding the enrollment reports. Our Institutional Research and Assessment team each week sends out enrollment reports of where we are compared to like this week, compared to last week at this time. And so we really want to give an opportunity for people to dive into that data, how to read it, how to use it, and what does it really mean. So those will be coming up beginning in March. Line 30 on our SOPs and service level agreements. And this is an interesting story. And our executive director, who you've heard from before, Jeff Adcock, actually wrote this and is allowing me to share it because the first part might be a little bit embarrassing, but it's a good outcome. So with the service level agreement and process that was put in place, basically it's a commitment to the organization of when you put in a ticket, this is how much time you can expect to get a response. Prior to that new process being implemented and actually measuring, the ticket response, initial ticket response went from 86 days to 15 hours. It's the initial response. And the average time to complete tickets went from almost 93 days to 4.1 days. So really just taking a look at the data, what it means, and then how you can best respond to those needs. So kudos to the team doing that and to the patients of the organization and allowing us to get there. Line 31, establishing a reporting cycle for programmatic and common learning outcome assessment. And as Dr. Spezza just mentioned and referenced, you heard from Dr. DeCosmo previously on our program review process and showed you the data reports that our deans, directors, and chairs and faculty see to get a sense of where we are with our data and programs. This past fall, we allowed departments and faculty to delve into it. On Convocation Day, we got a lot of great feedback on how to improve those reports, and we're continuing looking at those, again, how we can continuously improve not only our programs, but how we use and utilize that data. And that was that whole section around data. Line 35, develop operations manual for select major processes. So this is another little fun history story for those of you who may not have been around. In 2016, when we had a review by the Higher Learning Commission, and some of the feedback that they shared with us is that we did not have processes for a lot of our documented processes for a lot of the processes. And this is beyond our policies and procedures, the things that you see for the board, to approve and then we create. And what we've done in the years since then is we've created over 188 SOPs that have been created and implemented college-wide. And now what we're doing is taking a look at the 188 that we have identifying what gaps that we have, and then looking at a review cycle for those. Because, if we created a process 5-6 years ago, is it still work? Are we still using it? Do we know we have it? And whenever you have that turnover. So it's a great continuous improvement process, and thank the team for getting us there with that. Line 45, concurrent enrollment training. As you heard before, when we talked about our high school programs and that report that you get each year, we actually require each concurrent enrollment instructor to attend an annual orientation where they learn college policy, specifically around concurrent enrollment expectations, and they meet with the academic departments and that connection with the department chair and the faculty. Because again, the courses that we teach here on our campus for concurrent enrollment need to be the same they're taught in the high schools as they're getting college credit, because those as well are Ames courses. For line item 54, creating an academic plan. You've heard this over the years as well. But what we wanted to highlight for you is activity 4, the training for deans, chairs on program prioritization and new program development. And again, Dr. DeCosmo shared a lot of that information with you all back in October, and really about how we are doing with our programs, looking at what information that we need to continually to be better. Line 55 is increased non-credit offerings to complement existing 4 credit programs. I'm not going to say anything better than what Dr. Spezza just said, so I'm going to say what he said and then move on finally to line 62 as the research, design, and implement experiential work-based learning opportunities for all Ames students. And the highlight I wanted to share with you that you may or may not be familiar with is the college has launched and uses a handshake software platform last summer. And effectively what that does is that creates an opportunity for students and employers to be able to find and talent and locate jobs. And it really helps facilitate that. And that's one aspect of what we're doing around that area and the work-based learning internships and apprenticeships. It's all part of that handshake software platform. That was mine as quick as I could with giving hopefully due justice to the people doing all of that hard work. Any questions?
Yes. Chuck Jensen, would like to give his update.
Dr. Bornstein, members of the board. For administrative services, the first line item is line 16, facility master plan. Of course, I won't go into detail as Mike covered that quite well earlier today. I do want to just make a couple of real brief comments. The custodians of a legacy, that phrase really has stuck with me as we've embarked upon our continued improvement of our facilities and our grounds. And this is a point in time where I always like to compliment the board now and in the past of the commitment that we continue to make to investing in these facilities, not only in new facilities, but in the maintenance and upkeep. And it's continually reaffirming, as Mike spoke about, our insurance company coming and looking at our facilities. We talked in the past of doing a facilities condition inventory and how well that report is and the maintenance of our buildings. So anyway, I always like to give that credit to the board, current and past, that continued investment in our facilities. As Dr. Bornstein and I have worked through information for legislative, the current legislature, it's always fun to be able to say that we continue to do all this work on our facilities plan with local dollars. We do not receive state appropriations for any of our buildings, and we continue to be debt-free. Those are two very remarkable statements. And yes, we all know those things, but they're just really fun to say. Item is line 26. It is the develop resources to support fiscal literacy and access. And we are finalizing the implementation of two resources that will provide enhanced financial reporting capabilities to the college. One is called adaptive planning, and the other is dashboards. Dashboard functionalities, both of these are within Workday. And these will allow not only the budget and planning department or fiscal department to do additional planning, but it also then provides the type of information for the budget managers across the college to access information in a much more robust manner. We are excited that we will be finalizing and rolling out this work by the end of June 2023. Line item 48, the enterprise resource planning implementation. I've mentioned it in the past several years as we've worked our way through the journey of converting from Banner to Workday, all of our administrative systems, both finance, HR, payroll, and now students. And having to announce that our first major milestone in Workday student was reached this past November when we moved to production of the recruiting and admission tasks. And our next big milestone will come here in March, where we'll move to production for registration, advising, awards, financial aid, and others. And so incredible amount of work by so many people that I wouldn't even want to begin to start to list names, because it encompasses all departments across the whole college as we've continued on this journey of our ERP implementation. So with that, those are the three items in administrative services.
No comment. Chuck, I appreciate your comments, complimenting the board or being thankful for the board's support and all that. I just want to emphasize that I think we all realize, I know the board does, that there's a two-way street. That isn't given freely, it's earned by the incredible performance we see of everyone in the college across the board, all the people that we talk about that do all the hard work where the rubber meets the road. That trust is earned. So support of the board is very, very much appreciated, and as is your work.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Mark?
One quick question, Chuck. If enrollment's increased, what about 12% in the last 18 months? Would that be correct? That would be. We're at about 9,500 students.
We're about, well, actually, Aaron's going to give an enrollment report in March, but we're,
That's right.
Yeah.
12%. If we grow, what's our space needs? Or do we have enough space to kind of go to 15,000 students? Without, I would excuse maybe Lupton campus, because we might be adding on to Lupton campus. Do we have enough room?
Trustee Hout, that's an excellent question. And that is actually going to be, as we move into the next strategic plan, that is one of the items that we are contemplating putting into the strategic plan, is doing that, answering that very question. What is our utilization? What's our capacity? And what's our ability for future growth across all of our campuses? So that is a topic that will be, stay tuned for the next strategic plan. But it's a very good question. And it's one that will formulate the work that we do in the next number of years to answer that question. Do we have enough? Are we utilizing what we have appropriately? And what's our next major investment in facilities? So,
Thank you.
Aaron Prestwich will be giving the updates for the Safes Division items for the goals for this year.
Members of the board and Dr. Bornstein. I'm going to organize my updates in terms of items that we've completed and then items that are still in progress. So we have multiple SACE strategic plan line items that have already been completed. The key ones of these items include item number 2, which is, we redesigned our one-stop student services area. That's the navigation station that we implemented fully when we went live in the Welcome Center. We've also implemented line item number 10, which is our 12+6 initiative. If you remember that one, that's about encouraging students to take more credits. Because the sooner students complete their courses and their degree programs, the more likely they are to graduate and complete it all. So we completed that one actually about 2 years ago. And then line item number 11, which is our guided pathways initiatives. We actually had multiple initiatives within the guided pathways umbrella that we've implemented over the years. Line item number 9, which is priority registration. So we have several student populations that now have priority registration. So they have the opportunity to kind of get in there and get the classes that they really need before the whole student body has a chance to get in and register. And then another item that we have implemented is line item number 11, which is improving student wellness programming on campus. And I actually have a really exciting announcement to make about an email that I just got this morning about some good news that I'll share about that one a little bit. Items that we have still left in progress is line item number 37. So this is our SACE assessment plan. So we're still in the process of fully implementing our SACE assessment plan. We have a plan developed. We have a framework. We have a timeline. We have a training plan. We have a reporting cycle. We have all those pieces in place. And we're still in the process of implementing our assessment plan. And then also an item under SACE is number 14. This has actually really become a college-wide or a cabinet initiative. This is conducting the campus climate survey. And of course, we've done that. But now the college is in the process of actually implementing strategies as a result of the climate survey. So there's 5 action teams that cabinet developed in response to the feedback and the input that we got from the climate survey. Those 5 action teams are currently in various stages of researching strategies and implementation plans that we can do to respond to the feedback that we got from the climate survey. And some of those action teams have already come in and reported to the cabinet and to the college council, and there's really some exciting work being done there. And then we have number 15 and 17, which are really combined together. So number 15 is working on enrollment plans for Latinx student populations. And then number 17 is design and implement our strategic enrollment management plan. So those are highly correlated together. And that's temporarily been moved to marketing and communications. And so Zach McFarland is actually going to give a report on some of the foundational work that we're doing on our SEM planning. So some exciting news about strategic plan line item number 7. We've done multiple things in the division over the years to improve our wellness programming for students. This is an area that, of course, we've known that students have a high amount of need in, that we've responded to really well post-COVID in terms of just various student health and mental health awareness needs. So I just got an email this morning. We received a grant from the JED Foundation, a $75,000 grant. Yes, that we got that. So the JED Foundation does a lot of mental health work. And one of the initiatives that they have is to work with K through 12 and then also colleges and universities on these grant opportunities. And so we just received word this morning that we received this grant. Not only does the grant offer financial resources, so again, the $75,000, but it also provides a lot of other kind of support efforts. So they'll help us to do things like review our assessment practices, review our policy review. They come in and kind of provide like coaching resources to us. Basically, like they're experts in this area, then they come in and kind of walk beside us to help us review how can we continue to help improve our services and mental health resources. And so that's a really exciting new grant that we're about to embark on.
It's for our students. You mentioned K through 12 in that environment? Or
Yeah, so the JED Foundation works with K through 12 and colleges and universities. So the grant that we got was just for Ames Community College. So we applied for the grant and we're one of the recipients.
what would be, how would you use those sums? Would you hire kind of like
Yeah, so
counselors?
a lot of that will go directly to students to get increased mental health services. Yeah. It may not result necessarily in increased FTE, but this additional funding to provide a wider array of services to those students.
Congratulations on the grant. It's very exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. And Zach, Dee first. Aaron had just reported a little bit about our climate action teams. Dee is going to report on action team 14 and 15. 14 has the recommendations and 15 is still working on.
Well, line 14, which is review and implement recommendations from action teams. Employee Services is currently reviewing 2 of those action items, as Dr. Bornstein just mentioned. The first item, number 14, which is defined by the Climate Survey Working Group as explore opportunities to develop or adapt policy, procedure, and practice to support sustained, equitable, institutionally supported hybrid, in-person and remote work schedule. However, the charge for this team was a bit broader than hybrid work schedules. Their work began last spring and continued through the summer, researching and collecting data. The team lead, Jen Seedorf, presented the work completed to College Council last month and made recommendations to Cabinet. These recommendations include review of policy and procedures to provide alternative work guidance, implement a website on my aims to promote the alternative work program, and provide training opportunities for supervisors on alternative work. Cabinet approved the recommendations on Monday. Therefore, the work will continue to establish a process and timeline to implement these recommendations. A lot of great work by large number of individuals from across the college went into this action item. Second action item comprised of 2 items, which was combined, item number 15 and 16. This was combined by the Climate Survey Working Group called Faculty Compensation and was defined as review full-time and part-time faculty salaries compared to other institutions, K-12 education and industry standards, in particular for CTE instructors. Committed to increasing transparency in faculty compensation by publishing and consistently updating the compensation handbook matrix accessible to all AIMS faculty. This item was actually broken back down into 2 parts. The first part was work already in progress. Faculty consultation and HR are working together to review faculty pay and conduct a market assessment. You will hear more about that next month at the work session. And the second part is to commit to increasing transparency in faculty compensation. And this team is very close to making recommendations to Cabinet. A few other items for me to report on. Line number 30, SOPs. Human Resources completed an operational assessment last year, which resulted in establishing the new department, Employee Services, this past July. And working with Brianna Stoich, Director of Accreditation, Employee Services has completed 95% of their standard operating processes, and we anticipate being fully complete this semester. We're excited about that. And then on line 34, review and update all policy and procedure contents. Employee Services has completed about 30% of our policies and procedure review and have been approved. And we're currently working on another 30%. And it's our goal to complete 85% this semester and have 100% completion by the end of fall semester. And the last item for me to report on is line 40. Expand professional development opportunities. Employee relations, along with the task team, will be implementing a new professional development program targeting employees who are leaders of the college and those who wish to be leaders of the college. This program will include the implementation of an employee experience platform called Culture Amp that will provide tools for engagement, performance, and development. Implementation of the platform began last month, and a team will be formed and a timeline established in the next month or so to complete that process. That I have to report.
Any questions for you?
Thank you.
Thank you. Zach is going to go up, and I think Zach is the last one to give us updates on our strat plan.
Chair Oxiger, members of the board, Dr. B. I'm going to piggyback off what Dee said about line item 14 related to the climate survey. We had working group number 12. The mission of working group number 12 was to develop a plan to build communication and trust among and between cabinet, employees, and students, develop and communicate to the college a commitment to specific communication methods that include informal connection and formal connection routes. Did we get that? It's a long one. We had 18 people on that particular work group. It was a really good work group. We did 3 full days just trying to understand that can mean a lot of things depending on who you talk to. So we wanted to just kind of understand the issue and develop good recommendations. Out of that work group came 9 recommendations, which went to cabinet late last year that we are now working on. Those 9 recommendations, I'll give you the recommendation and then where we're at. The first recommendation, better utilize aims at signature events to strengthen and foster relationships and communication between leadership and the Ames community. The director of events and Dr. B will meet after conversation day to take a look at the charter, and we'll begin to really work on that. Develop My News intranet platform to more effectively distribute information as well as develop culture and connection between employees and the college. We will actually be looking at final wireframes for that website experience tomorrow with our Atten design group, the same people that did the website. So we're hoping to be able to approve those and then really looking at probably a fall launch of a new intranet system, which is pretty exciting. Reformat Tea with Dr. B and utilize it as a way to showcase important news and happenings college-wide, as well as to invite guests to share topical information employees need to know. That's completed. I believe the last 4 iterations of Tea with Dr. B have utilized the new format, and we've received a lot of good comments on that. So it's been fun to see. Undergo college-wide listening tour with cabinet members. We have 13 of those scheduled. We've already completed 2. They're all across campus. This started last week. The final session will be on March 27th at UCA. Let's see. Marcom works with AFA, ASA, other similar groups like SGA. Sorry for all the acronyms, to develop processes around utilizing those groups as communications channels to inform the college of significant updates and changes. The director of communications will be reaching out to them by the end of the month to begin understanding how communications in those groups can leverage them to emphasize bridge building and relationship development in the VPAA and VPSACE searches. Members of this work group were on each of those committees. VPAA starts on March 1st and then VPSACE is ongoing. Utilize the college council to facilitate broader conversations about the direction of the college. One action that stemmed from that was to have cabinet and college council together for their bi-monthly meetings. That first one was last week, which went really well. So we're off and running on having college council kind of fulfill what is in their charter. Establish Ames Administrators Association and develop a charter. Don't stick on the name. We don't know yet, but really looking at about 30 administrators at this college and the opportunity that we have to get them together to start doing some training, start develop a shared understanding of the roles of administrators and really working together. We are looking at scheduling the first meeting to develop that charter in April. So we're just waiting on some dates. It's hard to wrangle 30 people into an all-day meeting. So we're working on it. And then the last one is to develop a working group to audit current formal institution-wide feedback loops for clarity, need, and the communication of. So we have a lot of feedback loops, and we get a lot of feedback that people don't know how to give feedback. So we really need to, really look at those feedback loops. This is getting wrapped into the My Ames project as a part of the intranet system. We just looked at it a couple of days ago, and there's some really unique ways to make
those feedback with a lot more transparent and able to see. I have one more line item, but that kind of concludes that one. Yes.
Good information. How many people are in the college council? How many individuals?
How many people are on question?
20 college council, 8 cabinets, so now our college council is 28 people across the institution.
What's a classroom?
Yeah.
Any other questions on that?
Not on that. Did you say you're? What those again? I mean, never.
Cabinet, we're going around and listening to everybody,
Sorry.
taking a tour.
I-
Really, cabinet is, we're going and we open that up for anyone at the college to sign up. We have 5 questions that we're asking related to why they work at Ames, improvements that, they would like to see at Ames. And really it's cabinet's opportunity to kind of go around the college and just listen to people and take feedback, especially as we develop the next strategic plan. All of that feedback will be incorporated strategically into the next plan. Yeah.
Is there an anonymous forum to?
For that particular initiative.
You had another?
Yep, I have line item 17, which Aaron referenced. This is design and implement a 5-year strategic enrollment management and retention plan. One update on that, we have Ruffalo Noel Levitz, a higher education consulting firm. They will be conducting an enrollment audit that looks at all of our current initiatives, right, top to bottom throughout the enrollment funnel. We've already, I think I sent the email at 10 o'clock today, the last bit of data that goes over there. And then they are coming on site February 22nd and 23rd to interview everybody from executive leadership, students, faculty, Marcom, recruitment. They'll be conducting interviews. Then they will give us that audit report back. And then that starts to help us develop our actual strategic. Those are all my updates. I stand for questions.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Zach.
Thank you.
2 more things before the president's report is concluded, and I know this is long, so thank you for your patience. I haven't had a chance to read this book, but I just got it in the mail. 100 college and university presidents were interviewed across the country this past year, myself included. That's what these little tabs are. So Ames is actually highlighted in here as a participating organization about certainly the new era of higher education, what's coming, what do we need to pay attention to? Again, I haven't read it yet, so I don't know where we are in here, but it's a little kudo for us. So, yeah, that's really good. I'll read it and highlight it and then pass it around. And then lastly, are there any new employees that supervisors want to introduce? So if you'll just come on up, you don't have to wait. You maybe just line up over there, supervisor and employee. That would be great. And then Shannon.
Yay. See, I still get to talk to you today. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to introduce Sarah Lindahl to you. She's our student advocacy specialist working in my area. And I just have to say, 6 years at Arapahoe Community College and most recently at Front Range. This was an idea from somebody in SACE. We've stolen enough Front Range people and their mascot is the wolf. Look it up, friends, but there is an aardwolf. And Marcom can make an aardvark pretty. They could probably make an aardwolf pretty. Family hyena. That's going to be one of our new sub mascots. I know, Zach, I haven't put it through you yet, but it's a sub mascot because all of the great Front Range people were taking. So Sarah Lindahl, everybody.
Everyone, Scott Reichel, Dean of Arts and Sciences, and I am very pleased to introduce to you Amber Pleasant. Amber is the new director for our adult education and ESL programs. She's coming to us from Nashville, Tennessee, where she was the program director of adult education at Conexion Americas. And she is a world traveler, having lived and worked in 8 countries. And she has a passion for working with adults and continuing their education and with immigrant communities. And so she's excited to get to know our community and find ways to support them. So welcome, Amber.
Chair Oxford, that concludes the president's report.
Bernstein, great presentations. Next, is reflections and comments from board members about Ames. So do any of you have any comments about Ames or what we do, what we can do better? Anything like that specific to the college?
Just would like to say every time I come to the board meeting, I'm just impressed with how much work you all do. That how much you care for the students here in the community. It shows that you're constantly working, especially on your strategic plan, which is almost done. Congratulations. So every time I'm here about what you're doing for the community and the students, and your dedication, and the faculty person, I forgot her name that left. You guys are doing ripples of kindness every day, and it's paying off in the long run to the community. So thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. Anyone else? Carolyn?
I'll just echo Heidi, and I really appreciate the week of appreciation that Ross talked about, and just that integration. I think to Heidi's point of the gratitude and the appreciation, I think it creates that environment that goes beyond the walls of the college. So thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Anyone else?
Just real quick, I'm always amazed every time because how resourceful and how much information is held by this college to support the community. And we're so blessed with the people that we bring on board, and we're fortunate to be surrounded by, and their gift back to the community is noteworthy. And just another thank you from us.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, I would certainly echo all those comments. I feel blessed every day that I can wake up in the morning and think that I might have something to do with the college, or that I might be able to see some positive effect in the community as I go out about my daily routine and interface with people throughout the community. And it's very, very rare that I don't run into somebody out there that has been positively affected by this college. So I think that it speaks very, very, very much to our mission. And I want to congratulate the board for their work over the retreat and coming up with our new purpose, vision, mission, and values. That truly was a big accomplishment. I think what it showed for me is how much on the same page this board really is. When you get down to the nitty gritty and we all talk about how we really truly feel about things and what our values are in the context of this college, we're very, very much on the same page, and we're very much wanting this college to head in the same direction. So that came out in the product that we presented here today. So thank you for approving those action items. I think that was huge. I know cabinet is much appreciative of that. And again, thank you for your help in helping to develop that. So the board meeting, you've got all of our criteria, things that we look at to determine if we've had a good board meeting, if we get it. You've had a chance to look at them and review them. Are there any of those items in there that any of you would like to comment on? Nothing specific?
Nothing. I'd like to thank Jerry for his support and how helpful he is for our group. I mean, when you ask a question, he comes back extremely prompt and with a good fluid statement. It's always makes sense. And I'm very thankful for he's on task. I mean, this guy is, you're not going to miss much with this guy, really.
We'd all echo that. Thank you, Jerry. Okay, anything else? All right, well, great meeting. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a motion?
I moved to the agenda.
Do I have a second? We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye, oppose the same sign. Motion carried, adjourned.